Alrighty then. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are. Welcome to Getting Started with Service Organizations for CSM. This is a part of the Live on ServiceNow webinar series. And I'm Krupa Singampalli, and I will be joined by my colleague Sharath Lagisetty in today's session. Before we get started, let me quickly flash up our safe harbor notice, then follow that up by, okay, like I said, this is a part of the series of Live on ServiceNow. This is a curated event series. This connects you with ServiceNow experts and peers that can help you deploy your products and achieve value faster. Now, we do hope that you join us again at future sessions, so you can see the schedule here, and a link for this session will also be shared in today's chat. Few housekeeping items. We do have time at the end for Q&A, so please use the Q&A button on Zoom to ask your questions. And yes, this presentation will be recorded and shared on the ServiceNow community portal for you to go and look at it again. And finally, we do have a short survey that we're requesting that you fill, and your feedback will greatly help us improve future sessions. So thank you in advance for filling the survey. All right. So first of all, thank you very much for joining us today. I am Krupa Singampalli, and I'm the Outbound PM Director in the Customer and Industry Workflows team. And I'm joined by my colleague Sharath, who is a Senior Principal Product Manager and part of the ServiceNow Inbound PM team at Customer and Industry Workflows. Quick run through of the agenda. We're going to talk about what are the business challenges that the ServiceNow Service Organization Management solves for you. What are the key solution components? And then I'm going to hand it off to Sharath to give you a live demo of the functionality. We'll do takeaways and spend some time with Q&A. So let me start with a story. Right? I want you to introduce you to George Warren. George he's a frequent traveler. He always stays at Solana hotels. So today he's staying at a Solana hotel in Arizona. But what George does not know is that this location is not owned by Solana Hotels. It's actually owned and operated by a third party. This is a franchise hotel, but he does not know that. What happened last time he stayed at a different location, he was charged extra. So he wanted to talk about, hey, I was charged extra. I want to deal with this issue. But the trouble is the hotel staff at this location, they are not Solana employees. So they don't have access to George's account details. They cannot submit a request. They cannot submit a refund request. They cannot help George directly at this location. So what they tell George is, hey, you need to call the main customer service line and they are going to help you. Now, what's happening here with George? He's just thinking, why can't you help me? Right? So he is not happy with what's happening at this location. And the hotel owner is also not happy because George is unhappy with this location not being able to help. But the reality is they can't fix George's issue because they don't have a choice. They don't have the capacity. Okay, now you can say, hey, this is a third party owned location, but if it were my own store or office or whatever, I'll do a better job. And so let's take another story. We'll talk about Joey, right? Joey, he goes to Solana. Again, this time Solana is, wow, it's a big conglomerate. They have a bank branch too, right? So he goes to the local bank branch for service. He goes there regularly. It's close by to his house. But more and more recently, what he's seeing is there are long lines and long wait for service because there just isn't enough staff at this location. And not only that, 2 of his last 3 visits, he found that the ATM machine was not working. Now, what's happening here for the branch manager, Jason, unfortunately, he doesn't have a full comprehensive view of what's going on in this location in one place. So how many complaints are there about slow service? Or how many open repair requests are there on the different equipment? And how many times did this particular ATM machine have problems, right? So what's happening here is Joey is unhappy with how the branch is being run, and he thinks maybe I should move to a different bank. So what's happening here? What's happening here is that customer expectations, they keep rising. And we all know the pace of digitization has significantly accelerated due to the pandemic. From a customer's perspective, they just want the same experience and they don't care whether it's a company owned or a third party owned location. But from a company perspective and business perspective, the systems and processes are just not the same between the two kinds. And like we saw, even if all the locations are owned by a company, there are still challenges. Now, when you think the business models are not just B2B or B2C anymore, there's B2B2C, B2B2E, subscription models, this as a service, that as a service, everything, right? So what's happening is they don't have an end-to-end view of what's going on between the locations, the partners, the staff, the install base. And finally, we all know that even as this digitization and the macroeconomic conditions are forcing organizations to reduce cost to serve, but businesses still rely on old siloed systems and manual process. All of these things together are causing these challenges, and solving this, it involves many players. And this is where I'd actually like to introduce you to this concept of what we call the customer service value chain. If you think about it, there are many players involved in getting these products and services offered by a company to the customer. Now, the value chain could be on the customer side, think implementation partners or other authorized parties who are supporting the customer. This is supported by the customer data model. But what about the value chain on the company side? Think about the physical locations that serve the customers, like the branches and offices and stores and the staff members that work at these locations. And I mean, they don't even have to be physical. Think, outsourced customer service or like a fully online bank. These are still service organizations. And they don't even have to be owned by your company, like we saw that. It could be an authorized service station for a automobile company. That's also a service organization that's part of your value chain. So all these locations, they even have some products and services installed to serve these customers. Think self-service kiosks or checkout machines and things like that. So this whole thing is what we're calling the customer service value chain. And a key part of this is the service organizations. I mean, in fact, you could actually think of them as the face of your brand. That's where you are meeting your customers. And this is really where the service organizations in CSM provide you out of the box the core framework, security, and guidance to model these entities and the relationships together out of the box. So we talked a lot in the abstract on what a service organization is. Right? So let's make this concrete with a specific example. Let's think hospitality, hotels. We have all stayed in hotels. So Solana Hotels, this is the company that's purchasing ServiceNow CSM to serve their customers through their hotels, which are their service organizations. Now, this one, it may have a hierarchy. Think, there's a California region, Arizona, Colorado, and each region might have company-owned locations. It could have third-party franchise-owned locations. And each location has managers, staff. In the case of a hospitality, think general manager, a front desk staff, or housekeeping staff. Now, they also have products and services to serve the customer. And it could be anything from the big brand sign with the lighted sign at the front of the hotel to the furniture in the lobby to the coffee makers and the vending machines to sprinklers and the utility system. You need all of these working well to serve your customers well. Finally, the staff there, they could be requesting services for customers. Think, hey, my loyalty points didn't get credited. They could be requesting on behalf of the location. Hey, the oven in the restaurant kitchen is broken. They could be requesting services for themselves on, oh, hey, the new reservation software came in and I need to be trained on that. Now, this in its entirety, this is what the CSM service organizations lets you model all of these entities, the relationships, the scenarios, the install base, all of them. But this is also where I actually want to tell you that, I showed you one example in hospitality, but what we did is we actually spoke to customers in multiple industries when we built this capability. Now, when we spoke to a retail customer, they call their service organization stores. If you think healthcare, it could be a pharmacy, a clinic, a lab. And then think about the staff. The retail calls them checkout clerks. If your healthcare has a attached teaching hospital, they have academic staff like professors, and they serve students. Now you think automotive world, there are a lot of franchise third-party owned locations especially in this industry. You could be having something like authorized service center, and then some of the install base items there might be machines, service floor machines that are used to service your cars. You take financial services with their branches and brokerages, they might be having ATM machines, and their staff are called loan officers and financial advisors. Now, service organizations support all these scenarios and all these industries out of the box. So how do we do it? Let's take and talk about what are the key solution components that make up the service organizations in CSM. The first one is the data model. So on this right side, you see the customer data model, which we use for modeling your B2B customers, your B2C customers, households, and your customers, implementation partners, etc. Now, on the left side is where the service organization data model. These service organizations, like like I said, the stores, authorized dealers, your investment advisors, they are not your customers. They are part of your customer service value chain. But even if they're not owned by your company, like a franchise, they're still not your customers. Of course, you need to support them. You need to provide service, but the service and the support they need is a different kind from what you provide your customers. You are enabling and empowering these entities so that they can serve your customers better. And there are more complex scenarios. Think about where you actually have your company employees working in a third-party location. This is common in retail, hospitality, where you have the company employees working at franchise locations. So all these scenarios, so we needed a different kind of a data model that supported all these scenarios. And that's where the service organization data model comes in. The next part is the business location service portal. Of course, like we said, the support needs, their day-to-day operations, the capabilities they need are very different from a customer portal. So what we have done is we have a purpose-built portal that gives you a holistic view of your service organization, where you can handle your day-to-day operations like managing the staff or requesting support for this location or supporting any walk-in service customers at that particular location. The third part is the business location install base management. Now, again, here, think about it, right? The service they're requesting is for the location. Now, you have one employee, he comes in, submits a repair request, and then he's not back on the shift for 2 to 3 days. you don't want to wait, right? You want other employees who are working there to pick up this service request and follow this through. Now, this is possible out of the box with service organizations because you are actually requesting service on behalf of the location, not the employee or the staff. And the last part is, of course, the contributor users. This is where you empower both your internal and even your external third-party employees to contribute to the customer service, where they can request support services on behalf of the customer. And at this point, I would like to hand it off to my colleague Sharath to give you a live demo.
Hello, everyone. Hey, Krupa, that was a great overview of the service organization data model capabilities. And I like the fact that it also is that horizontal, which supports different verticalized use cases. Great to know that. Thank you. With that, let me show you how this all comes together on an instance. These are the key personas along with demo guards. I definitely want to thank them because they'll help me in defining or describing the end-to-end flow to you. The demo scenarios, I'll just break it up into 4 parts. Like you saw, Krupa spoke about different use cases, onboarding a new business location, like you want to register a new business location. You want to support your service organization so that they can provide better customer service. You also saw Krupa mentioning how the service organization would come in handy to support your end customers. Like you saw her mentioning, hey, I have an issue with my loyalty points. Can you please help me? Right? I'll also showcase that. Last but not the least, I also show you like how do you verticalize this as per your business needs. Again, all by low-code configuration. You don't need to touch anything. You don't need to modify any of the security. It's all coming for free with the setup. With that, again, I'm just sticking to the same example of hospitality. Just want to let you know that this is not specific to hospitality. It can be applied to any vertical. Just to continue the flow, Solana Hotel has franchised the business across Arizona and Colorado. Let's, for example, say ABC Corporation is owning whole of Arizona hotels, and XYZ is the corporation which is owning Colorado, right? Let's see how this all is going to be set up in the system. And just to build the story, ABC Corp has seen success with their association on the East, and they're going to expand on the West. With that, let me show you how a new business location would be created, right? For this, I'm going to take the help of administrator. This is a person who will set up the business location. Let me go to the admin screen. Here is where the admin gets in. He can see the business locations. You can type in business location. Just want to introduce you, like we have internal business locations. In the examples Krupa was giving you, internal business locations are company owned. So all of these are owned by Solana Hotels, and the employees are also Solana Hotel employees. It's more like company owned and company operated. Now, on the other side, let's also jump onto external business locations. So this is where our storyline begins. You can manage your external business locations. Before you want to support them, you want to know them on the whole, right? So ABC Corporation in the picture which I showed you, ABC Corporation is owning whole of Arizona. I'll just dive into it. And Rosa, please remember this person. She's a general manager. She looks after all the operations across Arizona, right? And Arizona, we just saw that it has both East and West. I'll open East just to complete the picture you have seen. So East has 3 hotels already up and running, Phoenix, Peoria, and Apache. And let's see how it looks on the other area. We saw that they had success with East. They want to operate a new business location, or they want to open a new business location in West as well. So here is where I'll go in. So by clicking this, you can just get in and start creating a new business location, which is at Tucson Street. And this is a bit important. I'll emphasize on this. You can specify whether this is a business location, a physical location which has an address associated to it, or a business group. We heard from our customers that, hey, there is an area which is actually having tons of other physical stores, like you saw Arizona East or Arizona West. that is a business group versus a physical location, which is a business location in this case. You can populate all of the details and just hit on save here. Once you have the business location set up, the next task is like, oh, this is fabulous. Can I get people working here? How do I track a property manager who is working at this business location? Right here is where you can say it's a brand new staff. You can also onboard existing staff. I'll just reserve this for other flow. On the new staff, you can say that this is Tim Jones, who is actually a property manager here. And we want to onboard him with a basic details. And again, this is our own catalog item. You can add additional fields as per your business need. Member type. This is the fourth piece I was telling you, but I'll just hold on it for a moment. I'll not talk much about it and break the shackles here. Let's see now, once you know that this is a business location, you want to onboard Tim Jones as a manager here. You just brought in Tim Jones. Okay, this is fabulous. I just added a member to this. What is Tim going to do here? Tim, by the way, is a manager. So this is the step you want to do. You just want to add Tim Jones as the manager of this business location. He's like a property manager who is taking care of this business location or the hotel. So once you do that, you see that Tim is added to this business location. He has all the appropriate rights. And I just want to introduce you to one more concept here. So Tim is a property manager here. So he's having a responsibility of location manager contributor. We have a documentation link to learn about all of these different responsibilities. But for now, just assume that he's a supervisor at that location. He's a manager at that location. And why did we do this? Is Tim could work as a supervisor at this location. And if possible, he could also be associated with different location. He could have a completely different responsibility at one other real estate property of Solana. So that's the reason we are adding Tim as a member, which is the first setup. The second step you need to do is you should also add a member responsibility. When you're trying this out, if you see that something is not working, please make sure you're taking this one. So you have set up the business location. You have the members here. Let's just say you want to track the people, like the product. Krupa was telling you, like, you can also track the product deployed. It could be coffee vending machines in hotels, or it could be ovens, or it could be anything, right? But for now, I'm just saying coffee vending machine at reception. And you may want to specify what type of product it is. I'm just choosing it's the coffee vending machine. So you've just seen like how to set up a business location, how to add new people to the business location, and even track the products of the business location. Although I cannot click through completely, I'll show you how a fully blown business location would look like. This is an operating business location. Like Phoenix is rolling up to Arizona East. Kippy is the property manager who's managing this location. There are a lot of other people working here. You have janitors. So by the way, you don't need everyone to work in customer facing roles. You have janitors who are also tracked here. And you also have products. Products could be hardware, software. It could be as simple as, hey, it's a coffee vending machine or a dishwasher or even an oven or security cameras, sprinklers. It could be anything which you think a hotel needs to operate. And this is all needed for Solana hotels to support them for day-to-day operations. If a sprinkler is not working, it's a security breach. And you just want to make sure that everything is up and running to provide that best customer experience. So that is where you define the business location. Let me just go back to my screen. With this, you just saw that how to set up a new business location, right? You're able to track the property, you're able to register staff, and even track the products and services. With this, let me jump on to the second one. Here's where you have the properties of the Solana hotels which are up and running. One of the property has an issue. How do they request support on behalf of the property, right? I'm not going to customer yet. I'm just saying that the property is not operational. For that, let me take the help of Kitty Wielden, who is a property manager. And this is the business location service portal which Krupa was talking about. This is our standard portal dedicated to business location support. You can have your services shown up here, which is specific to your business locations. This is not customer support or consumer support. It's all about supporting your service organizations. You also can leverage the knowledge base by providing all the FAQs, frequently asked questions, and everything which needs a first-hand support, like self-service support for these business locations. Last but not the least, you can leverage our communities where one location is saying, can you help me with a probably gardener's contact number? The other business location or the property can come in and help you with the contact details. But for now, like I said, Kippy is the property manager there. He sees that something is not working. To be specific, let me say, coffee vending machine is not working there. So he goes in. Again, this is the catalog of support and services. Sorry, I'll just take a step back. You can have this catalog populated or created with all your industry specific functionalities. Although we just gave two options here, two catalog items here, but you can extend this as per your business need. You can have multiple categories here. This is all our standard service catalog functionality. So once you want to report a case. In this case, Kippy was trying to report a case on behalf of the location. He's saying that, hey, I'm reporting for Phoenix. You know what? This is a P1 issue because the coffee vending machine is not working. So we are expecting guests to come in and they would expect a coffee, right? It's a long day for everyone, evening or morning. We want this to be there. So I'm just raising the priority of this. You can have any priority, by the way, here. I'll submit the case. So this is how Kippy requests support on behalf of the location. So Kippy is requesting support on behalf of the location. He can track the activity of the case here. Let me now go and introduce you to the second persona. So you just saw Kippy, the property manager, reporting the case, requesting support on behalf of the location. Now, Rosa, if you remember, she was the general manager for whole of ABC Corporation, right? Let's just go to Rosa. So Rosa, again, like you see, she's using the same business location service portal. Let's say, I'm just creating a storyline here, just to make it interesting. Rosa is planning to visit the Phoenix hotel. So she's going into Phoenix. By the way, not sure if you've noticed, Rosa is seeing many other business locations than Kippy. The reason why Rosa is seeing all of this is because of our internal security model, which Krupa was touch basing upon. We also have, along with data model, we have security. So Rosa is a general manager of all of ABC Corporation. So she gets to see the complete hierarchy. That's how we designed this functionality. You don't need to code anything. It's all about the setup. You just go in, set that this is a manager of the topmost business location. She has access to the complete hierarchy. And in this case, like I said, she's planning a visit to Phoenix hotel. She wants to get a comprehensive view of the hotel, like who is working here, who is the property manager, what's the current situation there, what are the products deployed. So this could be verticalized pretty well as per your business need. If you're talking about automotive, I'm walking into the dealership. I want to know how the dealership looks like. Is the branding right? Are there the troubleshooting machines which are up and running? We are coming up with a new probably car launch. She wants to make sure that there is enough real estate. So she's paying a visit to this and she sees that this is super busy. She's at the hotel. She sees that there are tons of people flowing in. Now, this is where I want to introduce you to one other functionality where Rosa can move people between business locations. So Rosa was managing completely the whole hierarchy of ABC Corporation. She can go in, she can say, I want to add a member, right? This time, I'm not adding a new staff. You already saw new staff creation when we are onboarding a location. Here is where she's moving staff between locations. She knows that we just onboarded Tim Jones, who's a newbie, right? He's new in the new hotel, which is still kind of ramping up. So she knows that there's no footfall there. She wants to move Tim to this place, right? She just chooses Tim and she submits this request. As soon as she does that, she'll see Tim being part of this business location, right? This is the other piece where Rosa can do, like, along with viewing, getting a comprehensive view of the location, she can also move people between the locations. Again, it's just not Rosa. Anyone who's sitting up the ladder can move people across, right? If you're a manager. And now, yeah, it's a long day. She's super tired already. She wants to go and have a coffee. Now she just lands upon the same coffee vending machine, which was not working. Now, one way is she could go and report a case, but she sees that there's a case already existing. I think this should be interesting for you because so far, if I request a case, it's me who sees the case. But as you see here, it could be your peers working at that location who can see the case. It could be the manager of that hierarchy who can also see the case. So in this case, Rosa wants to say that, hey, can you please expedite this case resolution? I want this issue to be resolved as early as possible. Can you please expedite the case resolution? So she's trying to tell the Solana Corporation that, hey, can you please fix this? I need support from you. Again, probably I want to touch base this more like what we learned talking to customers and partners like you is in scenarios of franchising or internal or external business locations, it's Solana Hotels which is actually providing the customer support, right? In that course, that's the reason the case is reported. And John Jason, he's the Solana Hotels employee. He's sitting in the central customer support team. He's trying to resolve the case here. With that, let me jump on John Jason now. So John Jason can see all the cases. Just going to refresh this just to show me that case. So you just saw that there's a coffee vending machine request, which is requested by Phoenix Hotel. So John opens this request. He sees that, okay, there's an issue with one of the products. I think there's a small issue here, like sold product should be populated. I don't know why it's not. So once you have this, you know that coffee vending machine is not working. Probably John thinks that this is something which needs a technician to visit, right? That's when he creates a work order. This is all our in-house field service management capabilities where you can just say that, hey, buddy, you know what? Something is not working here. I need someone to visit it. So I'll just save this. You see that the work order is created for Phoenix. And you'll already have a dispatcher and technician coming in and fixing it. This is a standard field service management flow. You have the technician who goes in, who resolves the case. So you saw how the property reported the case, and also the case has been resolved with central HQ agent. And you also had a field service variant, which you saw. So this was helpful. And this is how you have Solana Hotels is maintaining their brand value. And probably that's the reason why Arizona or ABC Corporation wanted to open a new hotel on the west side of it. Awesome. This is great. You also noticed Krupa talking about this data model also supports you to support your end customers, right? Here is where I would like to introduce you to one more concept, like internal business locations. So Frida, for example, is working at a hotel which is company owned or Solana owns this hotel. So let's see how Frida looks at the experience of Frida here. So Frida is a front desk receptionist who is at that location. So Frida logs into the same business location portal. Again, like I said, Frida is an employee of Solana Corp, and she's also getting to the same portal. So there's no difference between a company owned versus third party owned locations. So Frida is here. She wants to request support. So either you can go to browse services or you can also go from here. These are just two ways to get to the same point. So Frida is here. She wants to report a case for a guest. So you saw Krupa mentioning an example where George Warren had visited a different hotel last time. This time he's in a different hotel. He's trying to say that you charged me a lot last time than what you quoted. So Frida is just saying that, hey, this is for George Warren, right? Sorry about that. So you're just probably George is not existing. Let me go with Stephen Smith, right? So she just chose Stephen Smith, and she's saying that probably this is again walk-in, and you're saying customer has issues with billing for during his last day, right? Just want to, yeah, I know I'm introducing a lot of concepts to you. I'll just introduce one more. So as I said, this is a company-owned location, and they have a small back office which also resolves customers' cases. So Frida is requesting a support on behalf of the customer who's Stephen Smith here, but she's also saying that, hey, I need support from our own back office team, right? So I can choose LA City Center West, which is the same location, where there's an agent as well. Now, there's a fulfiller actually, who's sitting at that location to solve customer issues, right? So I'm just submitting a case here. Yeah, the customer is now happy. Probably at least there's someone who heard them. They registered the complaint or the case, and let's see how this case will be resolved before the customer leaves the hotel for his current reservation. So this is Charlie. Probably I'll just go back here. So you saw how Frida logged the case for a guest who had an issue with their stay. Now you see Charlie. By the way, Charlie is a location agent. I'll show you what that means. So you saw John, Jason, who are an agent in HQ, the headquarters, who can see all the cases, right, in the system. They can track every case and they can resolve every case. But location agent, Charlie, he can only see cases belonging to his location. He can only fulfill or resolve cases for his location. He cannot see any other case in the system. So Charlie can be associated to multiple locations. He can only resolve cases for this location. That's the key here. So Charlie opens this case. I'm sorry. He can get, he'll see all the details about this customer. He sees that it's a platinum customer. He takes appropriate actions and resolves the case, right? And that's when the case is resolved and you'll have a happy guest. We just saw the security of location agent, which is inbuilt, by the way. There's no code. You don't need to do any customization. It's all part of the setup, right? So you have a happy customer now. Yeah, I think this is where I'll introduce you to, I think this is more for, if you're an implementer, this would be really interesting for you. All the experiences prior to this was both business focused, where we said, hey, how do I request support on my dealerships? How do I request support about my public service agency? All great, fantastic. How do I support my customers? Yes, you just saw how you do that. Now this is where I'm an automotive customer. Sharath, like I'm an automotive customer. You have this taxonomy, which is very specific to your industry or horizontal, right? How do I tailor it to my industry? I don't call anyone a location manager or a location contributor. Probably I may call someone as a regional director or an area director, right? How do I do that? So this is where I'll take the help of admin again, because you're changing something in the system. So your go-to person is admin for sure. So we introduced this concept of related party configurations. I'm just going into this. So there are a lot of related party configurations, by the way, but just in the interest of time, I'll only show you what is relevant to service organization. So in service organizations, we have support for 5 to 6, like 6 different related parties, right? Party types rather. It's not parties, it's party types. So this is actually driving the security. So when I said I'm a location agent at LA City Center West, it's this party type which is giving me access to the cases belonging to West along with the right role. Along with the right role. So let's say Rosa, right? Rosa was the person who was the area director. So she's actually a location manager. So I'll go in. So the functionality of location manager contributor is she's a manager. She can get access to the complete hierarchy. You come back and say that, hey, buddy, we don't call someone location manager contributor. In our world, we call them area director, right? So you can pretty much override the label, and please follow this. You should not save it. Rather, you should do an insert and stay. We don't want you to touch any of our existing functionality. So that is intact. You're just creating a label for area director. And if you see, this is the guy who's actually driving the security. It's the responsibility which is driving all of these securities based on your membership at the service organization. Just one more example. We heard talking to a lot of retail customers and even dealerships. I, as a person, own a dealership. At the same time, I could also work at a dealership, right? At one dealership, I have the ownership rights, like full control over that business location. But at the different business location, I'm an employee there. I don't get every access there. So we're not going any more role-based. It's called responsibility-based. All of this is tracked at a business location membership, right? You can track the membership at the business location. So I'll leave it up here, you can have your labels customized. And if you want to learn more about these responsibilities, please do refer to the documentation. Map your persona to the out-of-the-box responsibility and just relabel that. Relabel rather insert and save. Please don't forget to insert and save. Yeah, you just saw how you can quickly tailor this to your business needs, right? And okay, so what does this offer? What does service org data model offer overall, right? This is in a very high level, in a nutshell. This could be a takeaway as well. We support the data model to track your internal and external business locations. Who are the members at the business locations? What are the products deployed at that business location? Yeah, we do have walk-up experience as well. We support walk-up experience at these business locations as well. You just saw how the case is just transferred to a work order and a technician is on his way to resolve the case, right? That's around FSM integration. You can pretty much track and report issues for the products. So once you track the products, you can also report the issues. This is about the data model. And you also saw the security, which is out of the box. Again, all of the security is coming pre-packaged with service org data model. You don't need to touch anything. The manager can see everything across the hierarchy. If you're a member of the service organization, you can track cases created by anyone. You saw Rosa, she was checking out the case which was created by Kitty, right? So you can pretty much view a case created by anyone in your location. And the location staff, yeah, this could be, like we said, across verticals, store managers or POS staff or clinicians, hospital administrative staff, branch managers, any of those people. Last but not the least is the location service portal. This is tailored for your internal and external business locations. So you can push in content like knowledge articles, self-service content, anything which could help your business locations do their job day to day and focus on customer support. We don't want them to get lost in their day-to-day issues, right? We want them to focus on building your brand value. They are the face of your brand, like Krupa was mentioning. So this is all provided out of the box. This is from completely supporting your business location, but you also saw how a business location could come and resolve a case, right? I'm a location agent at LA West Side. I just saw the cases belonging to the West Side. I did not see any other cases. And using the latest and greatest capabilities of the agent workspace, customer central, recommended actions, all of the capabilities of agent workspace, I was able to use them and resolve the customer issues. With that, let me hand it over to Krupa here. Krupa?
Thank you, Sharath. I mean, that was a great demo that really showed the power and capability of the service organizations. And I think, I'd like to reemphasize here that, Sharath took one example of the hospitality industry and the hotels, but the capability itself is for, any industry you have. So he has shown how you could actually change the labels of the different personas to suit your needs. And then the scenarios of company-owned locations, third-party locations, this different kind of staff models you have, the different types of grouping or hierarchies, like it could be a virtual organization, it could be a physical store, a group. We have spoken and we actually do have customers who implemented in different verticals, different industries, taking this horizontal functionality and using it for their particular scenarios. So the question is, when should you consider using service organizations? The first one is, do you serve customers from a business location or an organization, and you want to report and resolve customer issues from that location? Then you should definitely think about using the service organization capability. You may or may not have location hierarchies. Not all industries had these. The example that Sharath had in terms of where you actually had staff members sitting on location, it may not be as applicable in, say, hospitality, but you could very easily think in a financial industry world, you have someone, the front loan officer making the request, and then you have someone in the back who are actually taking care of that further down and then resolving it. So they're all in that one location, but you're not relying on, hey, let me send an email to this person to see what's going on. You're actually tracking the process, and you have visibility end to end what's going on, and that's really the value, right? So this is where you can actually measure how the performance is, the customer satisfaction, the quality of the service, how is the location functioning. When you want to have all of these capabilities available, you should absolutely consider service organizations, and you want to support the staff at the location to get support for their store from the central headquarters, or just where they are, like Sharath said, right, where you want to unblock them from the day-to-day issues and really focus on serving the customers. That's when you want to consider service organizations. And finally, you have products and services deployed. You're not going, one place to look at what's happening in your install base, another place what's happening with your customers in the store. What about the staff, right? So when you want to manage all of this cohesively from one place, that's when you should consider business locations. Finally, this again is not applicable for everyone, but if you have a mix of company and third-party owned locations, and this is really like where we're one of the, if not the company that supports this capability of bringing your both external owned and internal locations onto the same system, same process, so you can really roll out consistently the same processes and knowledge to both your internal and external locations, so that your customers get a seamless experience, regardless of whether they're going to your the franchise mobile store versus company-owned mobile store. They don't care, right? So you can serve them exactly the same way. And when you want to support your franchise or your third party, your dealership, your external store, independent providers, the same way you support your own employees, staff, that's when you want to consider service organizations. And finally, when you want to fully engage your third-party staff into your customer service value chain, where they are requesting help on behalf of the customers rather than saying, hey, you need to contact the main headquarters, that's when service organizations really shines in providing the value to. Now, what can you do next? I'd say, first, go try it out, right? So these are the two plugins you need: the business location plugin, and then if you want to manage install base, this is the install base plugin. Go activate those two plugins and then model your own location. So create the location, change the labels, create the staff, assign the roles, and then see how they can request support for themselves, the location, or the customers. Yeah. And we do have more information for you, so you can check out the CSM playlist on the ServiceNow community channel on YouTube. We have some video shorts. We will post the links in the chat, and then later in the community post as well. And then we do have the product documentation where we provide more detail on how the service organizations work. All right. Thank you, everyone, for attending and for keeping it really interesting with all your questions. So we do have one final request for you. Please do fill that feedback survey. That will really help us. Thank you. Thank you once again.
Thank you, everyone. Good day. Bye-bye.